It's the Defenders at the Battlehawks. St. Louis, a 7.5-point home favorite. Total here sitting at 44.5. And the forecast for the Lou looks like 8 a.m. beers in those St. Louis tailgate lots. And once again, I'm sure you'll be happy to hear this, the Cardinals play across the street at the same time. Boo. What are we doing? Well, Zook, let's take a look at this one. At the same time, when I was thinking about looking back on the UFL season, especially coming into this St. Louis-Birmingham game last week, I just figured the Battlehawks would have this season-defining epic win in the game of the year and then come back hungover for an 11 a.m. kick against DC as a huge favorite with playoffs already locked up, and just that would give DC enough of a chance. But what is that? What's that old saying by Lee Corso? Not so fast, my friend. And that's how I feel right now. It turns out Anthony Becht is not coming off a win, so he'll have his guys hungrier than ever to get back in the win column, ready to take on DC, who's in a tailspin right now. Looking at the Battlehawks offense against the DC defense, the spotlight this week shines on A.J. McCarron, who suffered an ankle injury after a dirty hit by Carlos Davis, who dove at his legs in the second half of that game in Week 7. Coach Beck saying A.J. is still day-to-day. However, he did not practice today, which was a downgrade from Wednesday's practice where he was listed as limited. Beck did say if McCarron can't go, it would be all hands on deck, implying that we could see both Manny Wilkins and Brandon Silvers piloting this offense. So keep an eye on that situation before you go throw your savings account on St. Louis this week, because otherwise it looks like a sure bet. But I don't know about this situation. I know at this point in the season, AJ's very banged up. He's one of the few quarterbacks, along with, who else? Jordan Ta'amu and I guess Luis Perez, as the only guys that start every single game so far at quarterback. He leads the league in dropbacks, and AJ's been sacked 15 times. So it's been a tough toll on his body. You have to figure he's playing through some serious pain. But all that aside, I think the focus for the St. Louis offense this week is going to be the run game. DC hasn't been able to stop anybody on the ground lately. They gave up 187 on the ground to Michigan. They gave up 200 to San Antonio. So this spot setting up nicely for Jacob Sailors, who put up a hat trick against Birmingham. It became a very nice little red zone option there through the air and on the ground. The only chance I think that DC potentially stands in this game from a defensive standpoint is if they can get St. Louis to 3rd and long. And if you're listening to this, AJ, go ahead and take a week off. You do have some time to prepare for the playoffs and the championship. And, you don't have to play every week, dude. It's, kick back, watch this one from home. It's, you don't gotta worry about playing this week. We do normally love to watch you, but this week is a week of rest for you. Maybe an early Father's Day for AJ McCarron. How about that? Yeah, because that's really going to be DC's only chance on defense, right? McCarron has been very complimentary of Greg Williams. We talked to him in an interview a couple weeks ago, and he said that DC was the best defense he had faced up to that point. Again, that was not. That was before the Birmingham game, so thoughts might have changed a little bit. But it speaks to what kind of respect that Bruce Gradkowski and AJ have for Greg Williams and kind of the weird coverages down in the red zone they can throw at you and some of the bluffs and weird things that they've done against St. Louis before. The problem is now the Battlehawks have gotten very used to that. Flipping to the DC offense against the St. Louis D here, this is what lost the game for my Defenders in the first meeting. They couldn't muster 100 passing yards. Jordan threw 3 picks. Run game, per usual, non-existent, 2.8 yards a carry. And I was convinced that they had fixed all those issues against San Antonio, and boy, was I wrong. They had run the ball for over 100 yards against the Brahmas. They were putting together fourth-quarter drives, clutch plays when they needed it most, but I was wrong. They went right back to crap, and they're stuck in neutral again now. They were terrible against Michigan. And to make matters worse, Kelvin Harmon tears his hamstring, out for the year. That is a gut punch to an offense that's already struggling. Worst possible guy you could have get hurt at this point outside of Jordan was Kelvin Harmon. This isn't a Birmingham, St. Louis, or San Antonio type of roster where you have guys 3, 4, 5 deep at receiver, different options for your quarterback to throw to. This is not a deep wide receiver room. Kelvin Harmon had 47 targets up to this point in the season. Next highest, Chris Rowland at 23. Double the targets for Kelvin Harmon than the second most guy. So you're not going to find a target share like that anywhere else in the UFL, I promise you. And now you got to face the best pass defense in the league with the Battlehawks. I mean, they give up less than 150 yards passing a game, and they might be getting 2 or 3 starters back that missed the Birmingham game. So I don't know, Fred Keiss, what you do. You can't pass. You can't run. You got the lowest completion percentage in the league. You're barely scoring 17 a game. You're 15% on point after attempts. I mean, the list goes on here, folks. And I could sit here, and I will, and beat the shield all day. And I'll do what I do every single week, sit here in this chair. I'll tell you, DC's going to beat St. Louis. And they can win games ugly without winning a box score. And I could tell you, oh, DC's undefeated in the Dome. We own this building, right? This is ours. I could tell you we're not going to spot St. Louis 17 points in the first quarter like we did in the last meeting off of picks and block punts and other nonsense. Maybe Greg Williams finds a way to wake the pass rush up. Believe it or not, this pass rush that we raved about in the offseason, dead last in the league in sacks. Nowhere to be found. So I got nothing on paper to back this up other than AJ's injury status potentially playing a huge factor. I already promised this fan base that DC could not possibly look worse than they did against St. Louis. Then Michigan happened, watching that game, felt like they didn't get off the bus. So what gives here, right? 7.5 points is too much still. Even after me complaining and being negative about DC, here's your positive. Because you've been this bad, now you're a 7.5 point underdog. You should not be. That's too many points. AJ is 50-50. I'm picking DC straight up here, obviously, Zook, because I have to, not because I want to. But I do want to take the 7.5, and I do like the under here. I think we get like a 23-18 game. What do you think?
I think this is my favorite segment of the year. Just sitting here listening to you trash your own team on how bad they are. And then, like a homer, still pick them, money line. I'll take St. Louis.
Now, what would be worse for me? Trashing my own team or picking St. Louis?